Good morning everyone and welcome to Stretford Paddock. I am Alex. I'm bringing you another episode, morning news, paper talk, whatever you want to call it. I'm outside Old Trafford and today's weather report, we've got a parker on and we can just about see it. It's really foggy, it's not great, it's horrible morning, but that doesn't mean that we've not got loads of news for you this morning. So to start with, we have the report in The Guardian from last night by Jamie Jackson, and he's reporting, well, I think things that we already knew. Official bids going in for Alex Tellez in the region of around £12 million. And also, wait for it, breaking news, United are considering making an official bid for Jadon Sancho. Last week at the transfer market, United are considering it. Take your time, lads. I saw that headline last night. United are considering an official bid for Jadon Sancho, and it almost made me laugh. Absolute craziness that if United have waited until the last week of the transfer market to finally make an official bid. I mean, if you're Dortmund, do you want to deal with that? I mean, it just sounds chaos to me. But the news about Alex Tellez, that United are wanting to spend around £12 million, Porto are after £18 million. I'll go back to those figures later on because I think that's quite interesting with one of our outs, how those two kind of things match up. But, I think United are not too far away with that evaluation. There's reports last week that Alex Tellez, he was wanting Porto to drop the figure and to come close to United's 12 million. Again, this one I can see definitely getting done. Romano's been tweeting saying we've got backup options, but I think the Alex Tellez deal, I think it's set. I think what Manchester United are waiting for, I think they're waiting for a couple of these outs, that obviously everything happened last night, that Manchester United are waiting for a couple of these players to be confirmed to be leaving the club. As soon as that comes in, Manchester United will put the official bid in, maybe up the bid a little bit more to meet in the middle with Porto. So I think Alex Tellez to Manchester United, I think that one's going to happen. And Jamie Jackson, the Guardian, he thinks that one is going to happen as well. So the next article is one from the Telegraph. Mike McGrath there talking about Sancho Alternatives. Like I mentioned just then, that United wait until the last week of the transfer market to put an official bid in. There's rumours that Sancho, the Dortmund, are still wanting that 108, 120 million euros, whatever the figure is. United aren't looking to get anywhere near that, and United are now looking at alternatives. And they mentioned Sarr again from Watford. Now, I mentioned this last week on the news, and people went crazy, said it's ridiculous. Why are we signing a player like Sarr? He does nothing for Manchester United. He's not good enough. If he comes in, I'm done with this club. I don't think it's that bad of a signing for Manchester United. Look, it's not Jadon Sancho, and no one's trying to pretend that it is Jadon Sancho, but is there any player in the world that would match Jadon Sancho in terms of coming in and being a star in Manchester United team right now? I don't think so. I don't think there's a player out there that's available that improves our front three apart from Jadon Sancho. Now, people are going to say, well, why don't we get in players like Perisic on loan? Why don't we get in players like Douglas Costa on loan? Things like that. They're the kind of names banding around. Why didn't we go for Gareth Bale? But that's a lot of money on wages. That's a ridiculous amount of money on wages. And look, there's two things that happen. First thing that happens, doesn't work out. You spend 300 grand a week on a player and he can sit on the bench for 6 months and go, right, no problems, I'm going back to my other club at the end of it. Great. The other option is he plays well and it gets to the end of it and you've not got the player. There's no guarantee that you keep that player. It's happened with, Perisic last year on loan at Bayern Munich and he's gone. He's gone back again. They had no right to keep him. Now, the other thing with that is, I said the wages is a big thing. Sarr would cost considerably less. In terms of wage, would be considerably less than both those players. I like him as an option. Last season, in 30 appearances over League and Cup for Watford, he got 6 goals and 6 assists. That's not bad for a Watford team that got relegated and didn't get very far. And they got knocked out by us in the cup, but didn't do great in the cup competitions. That's not a bad return for a player in that kind of standard of the team. And I think that, no, he wouldn't come in and improve our team, but he definitely improves our squad. He's a better player than Dan James. He's got a bit more he's a bit more dynamic than Juan Mata is. He's got a little bit more quality, people would say, than Jesse Lingard. And I think that's what we need. And people saying, 40 million's a lot for a backup player, but that's how much a backup player to Mason Greenwood, to Marcus Rashford and Martial is going to cost. Because if you don't spend 40 million, you spend 15 and get Dan James, and everyone's seen how that's gone. To get a player of quality to sit on the bench, you are going to spend £40 million. Look at Jota going to Liverpool, £40 million. He scored only 2 more goals than Sarr in the Premier League last season. for a team that finished 7th. Ridiculous. So again, we're looking at Sancho Alternatives. Sarr looks like to be one of the top of the list. The one thing to note on this one is that even though the transfer deadline is only 7 days, is less than 7 days away for international signings, United could still sign players from the EFL, so Watford counts, after that deadline, and have got up until the 16th of October. Now, the problem with that is that if we do get that player in, he wouldn't be registered for Champions League, and Champions League, one of the opportunities. We don't know the draw yet. We may have a game or two that we may be able to rest players. We may have a game or two we want to rotate players in midweek. We don't know the schedule in terms of Champions League and what we've got at the weekend, what's going to take priority for Manchester United. So that would be a downside of signing an EFL player after that deadline. So I like Sarr. I think he'd be a good option. I don't think it stops us getting Sancho the year after. And I think that if we can get someone in, I think it's a horrible thing to say, but it is better than nothing. I think United can't go without signing a forward player going into the next year. And I think Sarr, if we don't get Sancho, is a really good alternative. Now, onto a little article by the Daily Mail. Not too much sure how to take on this one, but they mentioned that Henderson is closing in on taking De Gea's spot. Again, Henderson probably will start tomorrow night against Brighton in the Cup, as he's going to do all season, whether he plays Champions League games or maybe he rotates in, They've just talked about how we're going to have to rotate depending on things. Maybe Henderson is the player that comes in for Champions League games. Maybe he comes in for the Premier League games after the Champions League games to get his fixtures. But there's reports in the Daily Mail that sources in the club are saying that Henderson is closer to being the number one for Manchester United than people may think, and that he is really pushing De Gea. Now, I don't know how much truth is in this, He's obviously come in and done well. He made a few good saves in the game against Luton last week. So I think there's definitely something in there that he'll be pushing David De Gea. I don't see him starting week in, week out regularly very, very soon unless De Gea starts making mistakes. Now, also in this article, they mentioned Paul Pogba's contracts. Now, this has kind of been one that's gone under the radar. I think that if we'd have got our transfer business done early, I think that people would have been talking about Paul Pogba all summer, but this one's been a bit quiet. There's not been any rumours about him leaving Manchester United, but the one thing that is that United haven't yet sorted out his new contract. Now, in this article, they've said that United are looking to activate his one-year extension, which gives them a little bit more time to do things. Again, I like that option. I like considering where Manchester United are at. And to be honest, I think there's still some questions whether Pogba, up to his best at this moment in time, obviously hasn't started the season very well with the 2 games he's played. So we'll wait and see whether he starts this week and then at the weekend against Tottenham. I think that Donny van der Beek's definitely going to be pushing him to take that spot if he doesn't improve his form at this moment in time. Now, on to the outs. Fabrizio Romano last night, about 10:30, decided, right, let's just talk about all the Manchester United players, it seems like. And United must have, whether Matt Judge's second language must be Italian or Woodward, someone must have something, because again, all 3 of these outs are to Italian teams. Starting off, he tweeted that, and confirming the tweet from Manuel Biagini, that's another one I probably got very, very wrong. He's from Sky Italy, saying that Andreas Pereira is a here we go going to Lazio. There was talks all day yesterday, the Lazio coach coming out and saying what a great player Andreas Pereira was. And, so what the deal is, he's going to be going on loan to Lazio with sharing the wages. No indication of how much percentage United are going to be paying in those wages, but sharing the wages with a buy option of 27 million euros, which I think for Man United's case, if they can get him off the books and next season sell him on, I think is a great bit of business. Andreas Pereira's shown little bits of quality all the way through. He's shown, obviously, the goal against Southampton. His debut goal, he scored a free kick under Van Gaal. Everyone kind of thought that, and everyone under Mourinho was saying, get Andreas Pereira into the team, but he's come in the team. Ollie's giving him chance after chance after chance. He played 25 times in the Premier League last season, and he's just not good enough for Manchester United. Like I said, glimpses of quality, but his decision-making, his consistency, his just overall performance is just not good enough for a Manchester United player. And I think that if we can get him off the books, it'd be a fantastic deal. So that looks like probably confirmed today. I think medicals and things like that will probably happen in the next 24 hours. And I think Andreas Pereira will be a Lazio player before paper talk tomorrow morning. Shortly after that, Fabrizio Romano then tweeted that Roma are preparing a new bid for Chris Smalling and that Chris Smalling is pushing to leave Manchester United. This one's dragged on a bit, hasn't it? This one looked like a dead cert at the end of last season. They had a good season there. They seem to have the deal right, seem to have the right figures. But again, I mentioned the Tellez deal before, that United want to spend 12, Porto want 18 million. What's the same kind of thing? Roma want to spend 12, United want 18 million. I think this is the kind of deal that United are waiting to get through in order to get the Tellez deal done. I think they want that they want that out before they can get Alex Tellez in. Now, for a club like Manchester United to be waiting for this to happen, it happened all last season with Lukaku. We were waiting for Lukaku to go before we could get Harry Maguire. I think it's ridiculous that United don't have the funds or don't have the confidence in their finances that they can spend £18 million on a player in order to get someone in. But I think that this chain of events in these last few weeks, this last week, the transfer market, I think United, as soon as they get one of those deals across the line, I think as soon as Chris Smalling leaves, I think the Tellez deal will go up to the next level, and I think that's how it's going to go. I think what United need to do is get people off the books, and then you're going to start seeing loads of players coming in. So I think Chris Smalling wants to leave, or definitely wants to leave. I think Chris Smalling will leave Manchester United, and I think to Roma is probably the destination he'll end up. And finally, Romano thought, you know what, let's add another one about Manchester United in just before everyone goes to bed last night. He mentions Diogo Dalot. AC Milan want him on loan. So that's 3 players all being linked to Italy. So AC Milan want him on loan with an option to buy. United want him out on a permanent deal, and that there's no agreement yet. Again, I think this would be a really good bit of business if United can sell Diogo Dalot. I think United will demand quite a, let's not say hefty, but quite a big transfer fee. You know, they spent 19 million on him not too long ago. I don't think his pedigree's gone down since then. I think that the one thing for Dalot is I think he got signed for a team that he's no longer in. I think he was signed in a team to be putting crosses into a big striker like Romelu Lukaku. That's not the team Manchester United are anymore. Now, I saw there's a lot of people online tweeting and saying, you know, Diogo Dalot is better than Wan-Bissaka, we should be playing him more often. But come on, you know, he's played enough times for Manchester United. I don't think he's been outstanding every time he's played. I don't think he's stood out ridiculously. And I think that, you know, I don't think he's not good enough for Manchester United. I'm not saying he's not good enough for Manchester United right now. But what I'm saying is he doesn't offer enough going back. And people have been saying, let's play him at right wing. He's not that good. He's not come in the team and been unbelievable as an attacking player. It's not like we've got Trent Alexander-Arnold sat on the bench and people saying, why isn't he playing? He's not that good. He's a good footballer. And I think that if he goes somewhere like Italy, if he goes to AC Milan, I think he will do really well. But at Manchester United, I don't think he offers enough defensively. I don't think he fits into that system. And even at times last season when Manchester United played 3 at the back, he didn't even play at wing back. You know, Wan-Bissaka even got pushed forward and played in that position. So Ollie clearly doesn't see him as an alternative. You know, Timothy Fosu-Mensah has come into the team. He seems to be doing a lot more. You know, I think that Diogo Dalot, United want him out. I think obviously United want a permanent deal. United don't want to be sending him on loan. I don't think loan would be a bad deal for Manchester United. I think that it would give them kind of time to assess the options, but I just don't see him coming back to Manchester United and being a starting player. I think they've got Wan-Bissaka. I think he likes Timothy Fosu-Mensah, and I think he probably thinks that Ethan Laird and Brandon Williams are probably better backups at right back than him. I think they offer a bit more defensively. So, you know, I think the time at Man United is up for Diogo Dalot, which is a little bit of a shame. He's shown glimpses, but I wouldn't be too sad to see him leave. So there we go. That's everything from the paper talk this morning. Get in the comments below. Let us know. What do you think about Sarr? You know, I'd be quite happy to see him come in if we don't get Jadon Sancho. What are your thoughts about those outs? Do you think we should be keeping Andreas Pereira? Do you think we should be keeping Chris Smalling, Diogo Dalot? Let us know in the comments below. If you're not already, make sure that you are subscribed to Stretford Paddock. We'll have the build-up to the Brighton game tomorrow. We'll have a preview today. We'll have the team news. We'll have, of course, the watch-along tomorrow and the review and fan cams after that. So make sure you're liking the video. Make sure you're subscribing. I'm Alex, and I'm going inside because it's really cold.